It's Friday, folks. You know what that means. It's time for another TechHelp Quick Queries video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. Today, we're going to be talking about recognizing when Excel is the wrong choice and you should be using Microsoft Access instead. When the only tool you've got's a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Plus, we're going to get to your YouTube comments and a lot more. So let's go. We're going to start off today with an email I got from one of my Platinum members, Colin, in London, England. Literally, just as I was sitting down to record today's Quick Queries video, this email came in. And he said, have you seen or been told of this video from, and it's another channel that does mostly Excel videos. Now, I'm not going to mention the channel by name because I don't like calling people out. But the video shows someone trying to use Excel to pull together multiple tables from multiple different sheets, to build relationships, to load everything into a data model, write custom measures, and basically force Excel to act like a relational database, which it is not. Colin says, remarkable Excel being shoehorned, for want of a better word, into mimicking a relationship database. I felt like screaming at the screen, why not use Access? And honestly, yeah, I agree. This is one of those perfect examples where you should definitely not try to bend Excel into a shape it was never meant to hold. Excel is fantastic for small list calculations, quick analysis, charting. It's actually better at Access than charting. You know, pivot tables are great for small bits of data. You know, once you start juggling thousands of rows, which I think she mentioned in the video, she got a couple thousand rows across multiple tables. Now you're no longer in spreadsheet land, you're in database land. Now you're in my house, not in my house, right? What's the old saying? When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail? Well, yeah, if you're an Excel master, everything looks like an Excel problem. And this is not a job I would ever use Excel for. Not when you got Access, right? My personal rule of thumb is simple. I use Excel all the time. I got a lot of small stuff I keep in Excel. But if I can't fit the data on one screen without scrolling, or maybe just a little tiny bit of scrolling, then I move it out of Excel. Once I've got more rows than comfortably fit on the screen, that's it. See ya. Time for Access. And if it involves data that's on multiple screens, if it's calling for relationships, clean data, right, then that's Access. Right? We're not going to try to stuff our file full of thousands of fragile formulas and spills and all that stuff. Can Excel fake being a database? Yeah, sure. But Access actually is one. So, right tool for the job, right? But yes, absolutely. Thank you, Colin, for the email. And before I forget, I did a video years ago, 5 years ago, in fact, about Access versus Excel, which one's better. Excel has a lot of great uses. And like I said, I still use it myself. But you should know when it's time to take your Excel workbook and move it into an Access database. And the fact that you got multiple sheets with different but related information is the first key, is the first thing that should tip you off that, hey, maybe this should be a database. Oh, and for those of you keeping track at home with the AI images that I use for my videos, I've been going back and forth between ChatGPT and Gemini. This image was created by Gemini. And here's the best one I could get out of ChatGPT. So, and I went back and forth with the prompts and stuff, but Gemini is as of today, Gemini is making the better images. So, just thought I'd share. It's something that it interests me. So, all right, let's head over to the YouTubes. We got Cyberman saying about my holiday greeting card, which I repost every year. I'm not going to re-record the same video every year. But it's there's a whole bunch of people following me now that might not have been following me back in 2021 when I put this video together. And it's a good video, and it's the time of year when people are starting to think about holiday greeting cards. So I do a little repost once a year. But Cyberman says, I was wondering, instead of making all the queries, is there a possibility to make it with VBA solutions, maybe inside the forms? Yeah, absolutely. I built this with some queries in here, and the reason why basically is because I want this to be something that, the casual Access user can build and understand. And making queries, especially action queries, is easier for a beginner to understand. But you can absolutely replace a lot of these saved queries with VBA if you're comfortable writing SQL. As you move from beginner to expert to developer, it's common to start pulling the SQL inside your forms, inside your buttons, making modules. Action queries especially, because you can use run SQL or db.execute. But this video is made for a wider audience, so I didn't want to lose everybody. But go for it, yeah. If you want to take this stuff and move it in, inside of buttons, that's fine too. Some of this stuff is easier to do with a saved query. I mean, saved queries have their place, like this customer LFQ. It's real simple. It just brings last name and first name together, and I use it all the time. So why not just save it as a query? That's what saved queries are for. Like an SQL server, that's what your views are for. So same kind of concept. But great question. This one's not a question. I just like sharing cool stuff like this. Holy macros, Richard, I'm speechless. This worked like magic for my forum. I have about 30 checks, and my users were complaining about the tiny darn thing. Now they love it, and I'm a hero and a very smart guy thanks to you, as he's talking about my large checkbox video. That's pretty cool. I'm glad to help. I love hearing stuff like this. Earl wants to know if he can call his wrapper function Weminem or Weminem. If you haven't seen my wrapper function yet, yes, this just happened. I'm a rapper. Get it? Get it? With a keyboard tie and some bling and a pocket protector. I love it. In fact, more than a couple of you commented about that picture. That the Gemini is getting really good. ChatGPT is very good. Gemini is better when it comes to image generation, and they're going back and forth. A few months ago, it was ChatGPT that was better. So it's a constant race, and we're all the better for it, or the worse for it, depending. I mean, this can be used for some nefarious purposes. No, honey, that picture's not of me in the nightclub the other night. it's AI. I mean, it used to be that photos were very easy to fake. Now it's getting to the point where video is easy to fake. So that's even scarier. But anyways. Oh wait, I'm not through. We got more comments on it. Oh no, we got people actually writing raps now for me. That's awesome. I'm not going to read the whole thing. The one thing though that you did get, Fuego, is my name doesn't rhyme with host. It rhymes with lost or frost. But that's awesome. I love it. I get this comment a lot. People want to always see me build a sport league management system. I'll be honest, I've never done it before. I've been in sports leagues. I played baseball and softball my whole life. I've never played football, either American football or European football, which we call soccer. I mean, I played football in the street with my buddies, but I've never been on a football team. But yeah, baseball was my life for many, many years. So I could do it from the standpoint of doing like a softball management league. That I know. I know bowling. I bowled for many, many years. But like with any project as a consultant, the most difficult part is the going into a business and learning how they do things, learning that business model. Building the software is the easy part. It's learning what you need to do from a logistics standpoint. But hey, I'll leave this to all of you guys, all my regular viewers. If you want to see me build a sport league management system, post a comment down below. And if we reach critical mass, I will definitely add this to the list because it's something that a lot of people do ask for. But yeah, all right. Let me know. Easy Speak, talking about my print one label video. It says, just to add, remember the top of the use label page has to be turned upside down as it goes into the printer. Feed first to ensure it works. That depends on your printer. I've had printers that work different ways. I've had printers where you had to have it face up, others face down, others the top first, others the bottom first. So my suggestion is take a blank sheet of scrap paper and run it through first. Maybe even draw some lines on it where you know where the labels are going to be, so you can see what you need to do. Then what I do is I actually print a label and stick it on the printer. Like I got one right now. I got a photo printer on my shelf that I almost never use. Like once a year I print a photo. It's usually of the dogs or something. But, I have it on there. So it's like, when you put the photo paper in, it's got to be glossy side up. I've had older printers where it was glossy side down. So you got to learn your printer. Every printer is different. So I suggest figure it out, print it on a label, and slap that label on the printer so you know which way you have to feed your stuff. Okay? Okay, but good suggestion. And yes, it is almost Christmas time again, which is why I reposted the holiday greeting card video. Go watch it. Fonty38 says, for the longest time I've been avoiding ACCDE. Now I might have to finally use it. Well, if you're working with other people and they're working with your database, an ACCDE file is the best way and the easiest way to keep them from doing stuff in your database that you don't want them to do. So that they can't get into your form design, they can't get into your reports, they can't get into your VBA code and break stuff. That was the number one problem I used to always have with clients, that they wanted a copy of the database. They figured, they're paying for it, so they want, an unlocked version of the database that they can make changes to. And I get it, I understand. If I was paying thousands of dollars to have someone build me software, or if I have an employee building me software, I want the, basically the source code to it. But I would warn the client. I'm like, okay, if you have problems with this database, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to restore my copy of it, right? Because 9 times out of 10, it was because they were poking around in the database design and they made a little change that they thought was harmless and they just broke everything. So I'll be like, I'll fix it, but I'm on the clock. I want you to hear little cash registers going off in the back of your head every minute I have to sit here fixing your mess ups, right? So the ACCDE file prevents that. They can't get into design, even if it's just you and a couple of users in your, in your little small business office or whatever. Give them ACCDE files. That way they can't break stuff. Only you, the developer, need the DB file. I mentioned in the last quick queries that I got a comment from a member who said he canceled his membership because I won't stop the never-ending fitness database series, which I can respect that. He's not into it. Okay, great. The point I've tried to make is that it's tips and tricks and techniques for all kinds of different databases, not just necessarily a fitness database, but that's the database I happen to be building, and that's the example. Could be a lemonade stand, right? Doesn't really matter. But I received, ever since I mentioned that, I received a bunch of emails and comments on YouTube and feedback on my website from people who said they started their memberships because of that series. So thank you all very much for your positive feedback. I am going to continue the fitness series. There's lots of stuff I want to still do with it. I'm trying my best to make the tips generic so they fit into any database. So great. If you like it, great. If not, there's still going to be a lot of other stuff too. I'm trying to do, 1 or 2 other TechHelp videos a week in addition to the fitness series. Like today I did, we got, this week we got 2 non-fitness TechHelp videos, and I got 2 fitness database ones, and then we got today's quick queries. And so I'm trying to mix it up, keep you guys happy. Your feedback is important. So post a comment down below and let me know what you think. Or if you want to email me privately, you can find my email address on the website. Next up, Dingus Baddis is commenting on last week's quick queries. I mentioned that some users were giving me comments that their antivirus software was flagging my database download templates as potentially harmful. And Dingus Baddis says, as part of the reason antivirus software flags absolutely everything is that they're moving to a trust-nothing security model. If you get a virus, then it's your fault for allowing suspicious software to run. It's nothing to do with us. You allowed it, so it's your fault. And yeah, that's 100% correct. They have the mindset that if a file contains VBA code or a macro, and it didn't come from Microsoft directly, then they throw up a warning because they can't tell if it's safe. It doesn't mean the file is infected. It means the antivirus product is guessing because they don't understand access. And I get it. These companies also do this as a bit of liability protection, on their part. So if you do ever get hit by something, they can point back and say, well, we warned you. The file was suspicious. You chose to open it. That way the blame's on the user instead of them. But I give the same advice. Windows Defender is built in. It's free. It does a perfectly good job without screaming at every access file that contains a single line of VBA code. And most third-party antivirus options these days cause more headaches than they solve, especially for developers who work with macros code, downloaded templates, and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, get rid of it. And I've found interacting with most of my students, the more advanced you get as far as developer skills and stuff like that, the less you rely on these fancy antivirus programs, because that they're selling you something you don't need. Windows does just a fine. Windows alone is fine for catching viruses. Just don't download stuff from Bob's free software wonder emporium. If it's a questionable site, don't download from it. If someone claims to have a free copy of Adobe Photoshop, ooh, I can get it free. Don't run it. Nothing is free. Well, some things are free. My beginner lessons are free. My TechHelp videos are free, but... All right, so before we finish, don't forget to save the date, Friday, March 27th, 2026. If you're going to be in the Redmond, Washington area, it's going to be Access Day 2026, hosted by Armin over at J Street Technology. So just save the date. I don't have any more information yet. I'll post more as soon as I know. Don't forget to check out what's new on my website. Post something almost every day. Don't forget to check out my Captain's Log, which is like my daily blog. I post something interesting almost every day. Just recently did something about scammers and hackers, and my low chaos guide to the holiday season. So check that out. I actually started a YouTube channel for it. I haven't done much with it yet, but eventually I'm going to start turning some of these better articles into little short videos. So if you're interested, check it out. Check out the merch store. I got some ideas for some cool other shirts I'm going to be putting together soon. So like, some Excel stuff, some PowerPoint stuff, even all the different, the different nerdy type things. And find my book on Amazon. Yeah, it's there if you want a copy. And that's about going to do it. So that is your Tech Help Quick Queries video for this week. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that show more link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are for my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos. Plus, you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject. And you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.